we obviously have Moses Moody joining us right now, as well as our Arkansas recruiting and basketball guru, Kevin McPherson, as well. But Moses, I got to start with you. Been an exciting day signing with Arkansas. Just how happy are you to finally put pen to paper and say that you're an Arkansas Razorback?
Definitely. I'm excited. I know it's a bright future coming ahead, so I'm looking forward to next season.
Kevin McPherson, you know how big of a deal this is, getting Moses Moody to the Hill. What's your take on this?
Well, I've been covering Moses since probably 4 or 5 years ago, and one thing I always say in athletics, especially basketball, if a dog's going to bite, it's going to bite as a puppy. Moses was a freshman at Little Rock Parkview. That team ended up having 5 high major players, including Moses Moody, and he played a significant role on that team getting to a state title game. And that's kind of what I wanted to ask Moses about and talk to him about the fact that he's always played really at a high level and sometimes with older guys, and that maturation process, even going back to his freshman season, how building off of that led him to where he is today.
Definitely, just being able to play with that team and play with other good players, it definitely helped me out and prepared me to play in my bird, playing with next level players, because I've done this before. And on that team, I had to take more of a back seat because I was a freshman and got guys like Khalil and Javon and CJ and Ethan and guys like that that's already in the system, know the system. So I got to look from the back seat and watch how they carried themselves, watch how they were able to win games. So I definitely got to learn from that.
And Moses, I'm going to walk you through the next year as a sophomore, because everybody knows you've been at Montverde, but for those that don't know, we just talked about Parkview, but as a sophomore, you led North Little Rock to a state title, the 7A, the top of the heap, and you were the MVP of the title game against a really good Fort Smith Northside program that's won its share titles lately. But a great game for you in that setting. Obviously, you went head-to-head with a senior at that point. You were a sophomore, and Isaiah Joe, who's now a Razorback, going to be your teammate. Talk a little bit about that experience as well, helping you to take that next step up the ladder and prepare you for a Montverde.
Yeah, that experience was great. It was great. Just that race to the playoffs, throughout the playoffs and throughout the season, we had a lot of great guys on the team with Otis and Spencer and Ray. My brother Miles played on the team. Jacor. We just had players on stack on top of players, so we were just able to play together and make it work, and ended up victorious.
That's right. Now, we know what happened at Montverde, 25-0, undefeated team. A lot of people around the country that follow high school basketball over the years said that might have been the best team ever. Loaded down with players that are projected as future NBA draft lottery picks. Some, got one guy picked to go number 1 overall in a couple of years. But now talk about that experience, because, again, that's the next step for where you are now, and really how that prepared you in maybe different ways.
How the Parkview experience prepared me?
Now on to Montverde.
Okay, yeah. Just playing with a stacked team like that is like playing at the next level with the coaching staff that we had in Montverde, because a lot of the guys that don't even get recognition is the assistant coaches, and just how detail oriented they are. With Ben Witherspoon last year, Ben Wisniewski this year, and Coach Rob, and we just all those coaches, Coach Joe, just doing so much to prepare us for games. Coach Ray, Coach Boyle, definitely, because he's so detail oriented, and I think he prepares and thinks more like a professional coach. And just knowing that he knows we can lose any game, so it might be a game that you assume that you're going to win, that's how you think, but he doesn't let us think like that. He talks about the team like they're the number 1 team in the country, and we're trying to knock them off, and that's his approach going into every game. So him installing that mindset into each and every one of us definitely will prepare us for the next level.
And I asked you to walk through that with me, because I think fans a lot of times, they look at scores, they look at stats, and they see results, but they don't always know maybe the journey or each step of the way, because basketball, I always say it's a 365-day-a-year thing. You can do something every day to help yourself get better. But now talk about, obviously this is big for you today, finally getting your name on that paper and becoming a Razorback. Tell me a little bit more about now as you transition into your freshman season, playing in the SEC at the high major level.
Yeah, I definitely say my journey has prepared me for it. Looking back, just being being the little brother to my big brother Miles, he played basketball back then, so he was the man. and I was just in his shadow and everything, playing against him, beating me on the court and everything. So that really prepared me to have this different approach to the game, and made me more hungry, made me play harder. And I still have flashbacks to times back then when I meet adversity and how I dealt with it then and how I can deal with it now. So I definitely think that prepares me for SEC basketball, because in the SEC it definitely gets gritty. It's everybody wants to win. It's a different type of basketball, and I think I'm prepared for that.
Well, you're the headliner in a class that's ranked 7th nationally on the strength of the 4 in-state guys for this 2020 class, all ranked in the national top 100. Tell me a little bit about, growing up with these guys, playing with them, playing against them, but also, what kind of edge does that chemistry maybe give you all coming in? And how do you see, that working out for the Razorbacks as y'all blend in with some veterans that have experience?
Yeah, I definitely know that the guys that we have coming in all have chemistry. From Jalen playing, I've been playing against him growing up as kids. Same with Devo. He played for Team Turn Up way back. That was in like 4th grade, but he played with Arkansas Wings throughout the older years. And then, playing with KK all this time. We've been on the same team, so we're used to playing with each other. I've always tell people that's one of my favorite point guards to play with out of everybody that I play with. So that's definitely going to be great. Just having a relationship going in, and then we can form a relationship with other guys. Like I said, Isaiah, Desi, Ethan, they all played AAU with my brothers, so I already have a relationship with some of those guys. So just being able to mesh, I think that's going to be the next step.
Now, you mentioned KK. He's coming off the board on Monday, and it'll round out a 6-player class. But you guys took your official visit together back in October. Let's go back to that a little bit and just talk about what that experience was like for both of you guys, because obviously a month later you'd both commit and land where you are now. So if you can, walk the fans back through that visit.
Yeah, we went up to Fayetteville. We actually went during fall break, so none of the students was there. But we stayed. I stayed with Khalil. He was with Isaiah. So we had conversations there. We actually talked after the first night. We went back to the hotel and really talked about all the stuff we liked. And we just felt like our games together would be great to keep what we had going.
When you've watched Arkansas this year, when you had a chance to, and the way that they, have different variations in their offense, whether it's pace and space, playing a 2-man game, a lot of 2-man game out high with guards. Now you'll have some bigs that can stretch the floor too. What aspect of what you've seen so far excites you when you start thinking about your strengths as a player and how you can fit into that and make it work?
I definitely see the freedom that coach allows the team to play with. And you just see him out there on the court just going, playing defense because they're trying to win, not because coach says so, not because I'm going to come out if I mess up. It's just they want to win. And they all just have this brotherhood or camaraderie that they play with. And that's really, it's fun to watch. And it makes me definitely excited to be becoming a part of that.
And one thing we were talking about this group of freshmen, one thing I've always noticed covering you guys for several years and getting to see in all kinds of different scenarios, whether it's a camp or spring and summer grassroots or high school, you all seem to play the right way. Unselfish basketball, a smart, high IQ brand of basketball. Do you see that in this group, and do you think that's going to maybe surprise, aside from just a ranking, just y'all's maturity level and understanding of how to play the game without being about you and being about team?
Definitely. I feel like when you meet a person, you can tell the maturity level, and that's exactly what that is, just being mature enough to play your role and find your role. So I feel like that all the players that I'll talk to on the team just have the maturity to be able to do that.
All right. And of course, the Arkansas's coaching staff, really this past year after being hired in April, they quickly renewed the offer that the previous staff had made. But talk about that relationship building process. Obviously, they came to see you. You had a couple of visits. But talk a little bit about that, Moses, and how that got you to this point where you're now a Razorback.
Yeah, after that coaching change, I had a good relationship with Coach Anderson. I really liked him off the court, on the court. We got to build a relationship. But when Coach Musk came in, he actually didn't offer me like as soon as he came in, and looking back, I definitely appreciate that because I feel like he got the chance to get the job and then look into me and make sure I was actually, because I know a lot of the hype was behind me, but make sure I'm actually what he wants. and I gotta respect that, because don't just offer me because that's what everybody tells you should do. As a coach, then you should make sure a player fits your system. And I like that he was able to do that. He did that. And then just knowing that he had this NBA experience and that he wasn't given anything. You can see, if you look in his history, see he had to work for a lot. His nothing was given, and I could tell just him having that grit, that tenacity, is definitely impressive and attractive. Looking for a coach. They say my dad always says, smooth sea has never made a skillful sailor. So just saying he's met some adversity and fought through it.
Well, that's a mature way to look at that. Now, talking about the things that you learned along the way to get here, we've talked a little bit about some of that. What are some things that you're still working on, maybe both on and off the court, to prepare you?
Right now, I'm working on a lot of conditioning and cardio, because that's just what I have to do. Because obviously the lockdown and everything. So I've been getting my body in shape, getting ready for the next level of conditioning. I've been putting shots up around the corner on the outside court, just trying to keep my shot lined up and everything. But it's limited on what I can do, because even when I go to the court, I have to play on concrete, and I try not to do that. So it's a couple limitations that I have to find my way around. But I'm definitely able to still advance my game.
I see some of your camp jerseys behind you. You got a Nerf hoop in there? You got a Nerf hoop in your room?
It's not in my room. I got one downstairs though.
Have you been doing any work on that? I'm getting cabin fever, and I can't play anymore. How about you? Are you working on that at all?
You actually just gave me a great idea I haven't even thought about, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, you and Mom played on the Nerf hoop.
If you ask any of my friends, my whole childhood, we used to be down there going at it. I'm talking like we in a national championship.
Speaking of national championships, I was listening to your live stream with Musk, and you talked about that. You said, why not? Why not Arkansas? That's what we're here for, and that's what we're going to play for in year one. Talk a little bit about that confidence or belief in self and team, and the idea of why not us?
Mm-hmm. I mean, definitely, like you say, like we have the I think number 6 now recruiting class, number 6 or 7 recruiting class in the country. So we have great players coming in. They had a great season even without the new players last season. So it's just us being able to come together, and Coach Musselman with a year under his belt, just having that experience of being used to the system. I don't see why we shouldn't be able to win the championship.
Well, then you're coming in at 6'6", 200 with that 7+ wingspan, broad shoulders, still growing. And being able to see how Arkansas played last year, where guys your size or similar size played in multiple positions, is that something you're confident doing as you move in to this next level?
Definitely. I'm a basketball player, so I'm willing to do whatever my coach wants me to do in order to win games.
Great answer. All right, so one more question: who in this group that's coming in, these freshmen, all 4? Who's the funny guy? Who's the serious guy? And who's the guy that you never see if he's coming left or right? You're always looking over your shoulder.
I really can't rank them like that yet, because Jalen being in Fort Smith, and we haven't been able to, and then during the quarantine and everything, we haven't been able to really come together and really form those identities. So I can't really rank us yet.
All right. Well, KK's quiet, so you always got to keep an eye on that guy, because he's quiet, but he's assassin on the floor.
You think KK's quiet? Once you really get under the surface, KK he's a real fun guy.
Terry, you got any more from Mo?
No, I mean, I think if Jason, you got anything else you want to add? I mean, you covered a lot of it, so I think we're good.
Just hey, how much have you guys communicated leading up to this, and how much do you think you guys are going to really communicate together as a group? And have you had a chance to talk to Jalen Tate or Vance along the way as they committed to Arkansas and signed with Arkansas?
I have talked to Jalen, and I've talked to Jalen and Vance. Not nothing too deep or anything. Really just greeting each other. We will definitely make a strong relationship once we get closer to the time. And it's me and the guys. We've been talking about this for a while. Just knowing that we're going up here together. We all had the offer, so we was thinking about it as a possibility, and then later on it became more of a reality.
Well, Mo, you've had a great day today. Oh, go ahead.
No,
Sarah.
that was it. Go for it. Oh,
Mo, you've had a big day today, a busy day. I know the Razorback Nation, all the fans are excited. Any parting words before we say goodnight to you?
Parting words. I'll definitely just say this year is definitely, I feel like, can show what we have in Arkansas. Just having most of the top players staying home just shows that we have a lot of players in Arkansas that are really great players that just don't get the recognition or don't really make it out. But we definitely have the talent in state, and just want to shine a light on that.
I want to thank you again
that's
for
awesome.
joining
Yeah.
us.
Thank
Go
you
ahead,
guys so much for doing this. Kevin, as always, great work. And Moses, congratulations so much on becoming a Razorback. I know that we're all really excited to see you play.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mo.